coordinate 53990.5. The Monarch is getting ready to engage in search and rescue operations for a missing short-range survey vessel, the USS Achilles. We are start coordinating our search efforts around the last location of the Achilles in the Argolis Cluster. I am, however, saddened with the news that Commander Saru has been recalled back to Starfleet Intelligence for another assignment. I was hopeful that command would allow her to stay a bit longer, but nevertheless, her duties are needed elsewhere. While we engage in this operation, my hunt for a new first officer will have to wait. End log.
All right. So as the briefing stated, you guys are basically searching for a missing ship. And you guys have just come up to the last known coordinates uh, f- for the Achilles.
What class ship is it?
It is an Oberth, Oberth refit.
Yeah, they're all dead. No one survives an Oberth class.
Too soon.
Pure explodium.
Helm, move us into search pattern alpha. Lieutenant DeGrosse and Lieutenant Casey, please scan and begin to monitor communication frequencies for the Achilles.
Understood, Captain.
Aye, Captain.
All right. Who's doing the scanning?
I'll take it.
All right, it'll be Reason Science Difficulty 1, assisted by ship sensors.
Okay.
Now, if someone wants to get the ship,
I'll grab it real quick.
all right. You 2 momentum.
Captain, I can't find any sign of the Achilles. No debris, no comm signals, not anything. However, it does look like there's a faint warp signature that appears to be leading further into the Argolis Cluster. But the signal is too badly degraded to get an identification on what produced it.
Well, it's the only lead we have to go on. Thank you, Lieutenant. Khan, lay a course to follow the warp trail.
Yes, Captain. All right. So to follow this trail, essentially what you guys are going to have to do is you're going to have to like plot a course / navigate. So I either have this as an insight science or insight con task. It's going to be an extended task with a difficulty 2, magnitude 3, and work 10.
I believe DeGrosse can actually handle that. Might be better suited for the extended task since our con officer's never been used, well, supporting character-wise.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is basically a task roll, like a normal task roll, except after you get a success, you roll challenge dice equal to your discipline +2, and then you have to try to get like all the work and magnitude and stuff, which I'll explain on the way.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a difficulty 2, magnitude 3, work 10.
Okay. So we have 2 momentum. If I give you 2 threats and 1 momentum, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, I can give you 1 threat and 2 momentum, I guess. But that'll get me to 4 die, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't think I have a focus. Unless astrophysics applies. I doubt it.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
nice.
you're plotting a course,
Okay,
which astrophysics would be useful in that.
nice. Okay.
And ship roll.
Ooh, let's go computer science.
You can reroll that 0 since you used bold, I think.
That's right. Let's do it. No, not much help.
It's 1 better. All right, and then you see how under the task roller you have challenge dice.
Yes.
So in that box, you're just gonna put however many challenge dice you're gonna roll. In your case, it would be 7. So put 7 in place of where that 3 is, and hit enter, and then roll.
Okay.
So right now you're at 8.
Is there a resistance to this?
There is not.
So when you say resistance, what do you mean by that?
Go ahead, Prex.
So with resistance, essentially is when you roll, there might be a resistance against that roll for the challenge dice portion of it. And so say you got, as if there's like a resistance 2, you would subtract 2 from whatever you rolled on the challenge dice on the total. So since you rolled
Gotcha.
like an 8, if there was resistance 2, it would be 6 work done on the work track. But
Gotcha.
I believe that gets us a breakthrough.
It does.
I wouldn't really spend our momentum because there's no point because we're not gonna be able to finish the work track, so you'll just have to roll again. But it does go down to difficulty 1.
All right, but before you do that, I have something.
Okay. Captain, as we follow the trail deeper into the Argolis cluster, it looks like the signature is not as degraded. Looks like it's becoming fresher.
Lieutenant, are there any known hazards that we might potentially run into?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay. I can certainly scan for it. Captain, it looks like there's an ion storm directly along this path.
Go to blue alert. Raise shields. What are the chances of us losing the warp trail if we try to go around the ion storm.
GM, can I roll for that, or? GM, might have lost you.
Typing. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
The exhaustion is real.
Captain, the storm might mask the signal, thus causing us to lose the trail that we're on. We could avoid the storm, but again, we could completely lose the path we're following.
If we go into the storm, would it not be in warp, Captain? She looks at the captain. Or would it be an impulse?
We could go through the ion storm at warp.
Perhaps we could use a probe, she says. Meet them on the other side, maybe. Avoid the storm and use the probe to track the...
I agree, Captain. That might be a good course of action.
Lieutenant Casey, load torpedo bank number 1 with a Mark 6 probe.
Understood, Captain. Is this a roll, or do I just automatically shoot?
It's just a minor action, basically.
Right, yeah. Figured.
I'll turn and look at Prax. What do you think led them on this course? Exploration? Maybe they were pushed to go into the...
Captain, the probe is ready.
Launch the probe.
Understood.
It's hard to say. It's a mystery we're going to have to figure out, Counselor. Lieutenant DeGrasse, can you get a better signal with the probe?
I'll try, Captain.
Captain, the probe has lost all power, and we now have no contact. It lost power as soon as it entered the ion storm.
Run an analysis on the probe. See
Understood.
what caused the power failure.
Casey will run the analysis.
Stand by. Let me find it. Let's go ahead and make this a insight or reason with engineering difficult.
Difficulty what, sorry?
2.
This is gonna be bad. Yep. Engineering is not his strong suit. Captain, I cannot determine the cause of the power failure.
Could I assist with that, or is that too late?
A little late.
Could we, Captain, perhaps if we could find some more information about the qualities of this ion storm, we might be able to send or modify the shields of a shuttlecraft and send it in.
Lieutenant Gross, run a full sensor sweep on that ion storm. See what information we can gather. I'll take your advisement under consideration, Lieutenant Casey. I do not want to risk the lives of a shuttlecraft, especially if the probe went dark like that. Wrong chat, GM. Yeah.
Oh, Shazam.
Alrighty, I will scan the ion storm.
Yeah, I'm not tired at all. All right, so what were we scanning?
We're scanning the ion storm to gather more information about it, and see if it could cause a power disruption like that.
Let's go ahead and roll reason science. I got some lovely threat. I'm going to spend 2 and make this a base difficulty 3.
We have
assisted by
sensors.
Yep. So assisted by sensor. So back to 2.
Cool. No, I'll just do a straight roll. Hey.
I banked the momentum out of that.
Sweet. I'll monitor the science and reason stuff from my console to learn more as an officer. Just kind of watch over it, look at the data.
GM, do I know if this is typical of an ion storm? Does it look different than maybe what I would expect based on my knowledge?
I'll give you that for a momentum.
Okay. Let's do it.
He has a science officer and then studious.
Oh, yeah. So it's free. Never mind.
Oh, even better.
You're so smart.
I read a lot of books, guys.
DeGrasse knows his stuff.
Like to pleasure read about ion storms. Captain, it looks like the storm has positively charged ion particles, which is exactly what we would expect from an ion storm. However, it does look like this storm looks a little bit rougher than a normal ion storm, with more positive charge throughout it than at least I'm used to seeing.
Can we remodulate the shields of the ship to counter this?
Would that be a question for DeGrasse or for Casey? Oh, never mind. Captain, I do believe so. It looks like we can.
Continue working on tracking that warp trail, Lieutenant DeGrasse. Lieutenant Casey, go ahead and modulate the shields with the data gathered for the ion storm, and for the Monarch.
Understood,
We're gonna
Captain.
All right, so the modulating shields task is going to be control security, assisted by the ship's structure and engineering, difficulty 2.
I'll generate a threat for both.
All right, you get a momentum out of it, and you are able to successfully modulate the shields. However, I'm going to spend 2 threat to increase the power requirement to 3. If it matters, which it probably doesn't. Okay, back to extended task. Just what else am I going to spend threat on?
You are spending it pretty freely. Yeah.
I'm gonna start looking at data on the crew, Captain, XO, that kind of stuff. Of the Achilles.
go ahead and let me know what you find.
So are we back on the work track?
Yes.
Cool.
So it'll be the task roll again, difficulty 1.
Okay. I'll give you threat for 3. Ooh, good thing.
You might even have.
And then I roll 7 challenge die again.
Yep.
Cool.
Then you re-roll the complication, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we gained
Alright,
2
so
momentum out of it.
Yep, so you guys are at 5. That should be 2 more breakthroughs for completing the work, and so that will be the entire thing.
Woo! Captain, it looks like I got a track. Yeah, it looks like I have a good track on the warp signature. It looks to be a Federation vessel heading to a planet about 3 light years away. Starfleet designation Sierra Upsilon ZX2.
Confirm that with the Achilles.
Is that what I found in my information? Too? If that's the actual number, if I have the information of.
Stand by. Typing.
Sure. Sure. Looks like that's our vessel, Captain. They're on survey. The cluster says, no set flight plan. She says, their commander has over 40 years of experience. Starfleet. Should we weather the storm? She looks at Brax.
Yes, helm, set a course towards the Achilles.
Aye, sir. Okay, so this is going to be a control con difficulty 3.
If someone wants to, we'll spend crew support to activate Bazin. Someone wants to run him.
Bazin?
I have to go AFK for just a second.
I can roll it if you guys want.
Sure.
Yep, go for it.
Spraying characters can use momentum.
Yes.
To control con.
Yep.
Flight control systems.
Yep.
I would like to spend 3 momentum.
Oh.
It's difficulty 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to make sure he passes. Hopefully he passes this.
Then-
Everybody's cool with that, right?
Then it'll be engines con for an assist.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Okay, cool. You're letting us down, Bazin. You're letting us down.
Mm.
Then if someone can roll engines con on the ship.
Yeah. Engines. Con. Boom. No help.
USS Monarch is really not the most helpful of ships.
We're gonna take damage.
All right, so as you guys are moving through the ion storm, the course is not the best course, not the best piloted course you could take. So you do take a minor damage to the shields, but it's really like it doesn't phase the shields because of the modulations.
Cool.
I'll still glare at the con officer.
He glances back over at you.
Hmm.
It is a storm, he says.
That it is.
All right, and then I don't know, after a few hours, because it is about 3 light years away, the ship does eventually arrive at the planet. We will go to scene 2, so you guys will be down the 1 moment. Warp engine. I think we might just have to find a sovereign warp sounds. I'm sure they're in one of the movies.
What's our momentum at?
1 we
got
just
back.
went this. Yeah, we're at 1 now because we just went to scene 2. 3 was spent on the con roll, which ultimately failed, but nothing bad came of it. And the scene change. And you are now in orbit of the planet, Sierra Epsilon 7X.
It's like a few hours later. Brax.
Yeah.
Lieutenant
I do,
DeGrosse, run a preliminary scan, look for the Achilles, and also check on see if there's any survivors on the planet.
You read my
Potentially.
mind. Okay.
Okay. So for the general scan, we'll go ahead and make that a difficulty. Reason science, and then sensor science. So I guess
Okay.
ultimately that's a difficulty 1 then. Ship is not your friend today.
It never is.
The planet appears to be a Class M planet. It's inhabited by a humanoid species, not a significantly high population, about 30,000 in number total. And it looks like they're a Bronze Age level of technology. And I'm assuming I didn't find any trace of the ship, or I couldn't identify the crew.
2 different scans.
Oh, okay.
So which one would you like to do first?
Let's look for the ship first.
It'll be the same roll, difficulty 2.
Okay.
Was that a difficulty 3 or is it actual?
I guess this would be a... Yeah, when I say difficulties, it's always the base difficulty. So I don't adjust it for your modifiers because I don't know. So it'll be a
Okay.
difficulty 1 then.
I guess the momentum game we got, spending 1, I guess, to get rid of that complication.
All right, so you guys are back down the 1.
Yep.
Captain, it looks like we found our ship. It appears to have crashed into the planet. I'm detecting multiple hull breaches, and the hull appears to also be positively ionically charged, most likely from the ion storm, from what I can gather. I'm also seeing that there's several pieces of the ship in varying degrees of size inside the city limits of the humanoid species.
What about the crew? Can you distinguish the life forms on the surface with members of the crew?
This will be a difficulty 3 test.
I will give you 1 threat and hope the ship helps out.
My own ship.
Ooh, never mind.
Don't even need it.
Boom!
And the ship rolls a complication.
Working the
Ooh.
kinks out of the ship.
So you guys gain 3 momentum out of that because it's ultimately a difficulty 2 task. With your
So
sensor.
we only gained 1.
Mm.
Can we get a new ship?
Yeah. Send this one in.
This one sucks. Is it still under warranty?
Does
You're
it?
still-
Does it?
You're
Do
still
any of them
getting
say
the
that?
bugs.
Yeah.
Does any of them say that? Curious.
Yeah. Well, based on the engineering room, it looks like they just updated the look to a sovereign, but kept a mechanical constitution. So
Yeah. We've got like NX-01 technology and a sovereign for
We didn't have a good send-off speech, so that kind of,
Ooh.
right, Pax? It set the standard for us.
See, definitely writing you up for that. It's Captain
You
while on
cursed us.
duty.
Subordination.
You cursed us for the
I think
Oh,
it's
It's
just
about
that
time we had our first court-martial episode.
nice.
Hmm.
I was hoping it would be a Ramen spy. But it's not.
Captain, I cannot find any living humanoid species that differ from the planet's inhabitants below. However, I do detect about what appears to be 30 remains that seem to be buried on the side of one of the mountains near the most populated city. They appear to be humans, Vulcans, and other Federation species.
How horrible. Checks the captain.
Captain, we need to
Gospel.
retrieve these remains of further prevent any cultural contamination in their society.
The ship as well. Who buried them? Do we know who could have buried them? She looks over at the science officer.
That's a good question.
Perhaps
Lieutenant,
they're
can
held
you
up in caves
isolate?
or something.
Can you isolate how long ago the ship crashed?
I can certainly try, sir. Ma'am.
Die smiles.
2 days.
Almost 2 days, Captain.
There may be survivors, she says, hauled up in caves or hidden somewhere on the surface, unless the locals, the Bronze Age locals, found them and buried them. We could be looking at a contamination. The Prime Directive already. Captain.
Do we know about how many crew members would be aboard an Oberth class starship?
About 80, at least in the
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
DIA does have that information.
Okay.
I do, yeah. There's about, she says, the crew complement can standardly, she says about 80, but you could really fly the thing, she says, with 5 minimal. She says their crew complement looks like it was somewhere around the 78, she says.
Reread what I put.
Oh, sorry, just making stuff up. Did you? Send me something. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, she says it seems the crew is roughly 40. Sorry, I mistook that information for the number of years the commander would been in Starfleet.
Oops.
It's with 25. Yeah, it seems like there's about 25 Starfleet personnel with about 15 scientists. So there's
So all
roughly
the
10
greatest.
people unaccounted for.
Lieutenant Casey, open up a comm channel. Open brand, see if we can't hail anyone down there.
Hail the ship, Captain.
They should.
A comm channel maybe to their communicators, says Lieutenant.
And
Has
you are
anything come in,
receiving a communication from the planet on a broadband subspace. Gods of the heavens, who ride in on chariots of fire, we thank you for your gifts of metal and light. Your sleeping fellows, we have returned to the heavens in hopes that you will contact us and bestow more treasures on your humble servants.
Your first one out, Prax. We get to be gods.
And the communication cuts out.
Oh, this is not good. Lieutenant DeGrasse, get all data on the civilization down there below. We need to prevent further cultural contamination that's already been brought upon them.
Gods, they say. Ha! If only they knew the worthlessness of their idols. And standing on the bridge toward the front of the view screen is John DeLance Q.
Oh boy. Hello, Q. What do I owe this pleasure?
Oh, have you heard of little o' me?
I think every starship captain has briefed upon you.
Oh, please enlighten me. I'm curious to what your fellow captains have to say about me. All good things, I.
Only the best.
Who is this captain? Just looks over to the captain. Looks
That
bad.
is Q. Q.
Stands.
Commander Dae, Counselor. Lieutenant Casey, my Chief of Security. Lieutenant DeGrosse, my Science Officer. And the rest of my bridge crew.
I have no need to learn their names, Cap.
I'm only merely being cordial, Q.
I am curious to how you are going to handle this delicate situation.
Care to offer assistance? Or are you just here to watch?
You're the gods in this situation. Although I don't know why anyone would call you gods.
Well, as once a old Earth individual once said, advanced technology can be indistinguishable between magic. In this case, they view our technology as magic.
I'll look up Q in the little computer there. As if my character does not know. Q is.
Well, let's see what your magic can do, Captain. I will be. And he disappears.
Lieutenant DeGrosse, I need you to have all information on the inhabitants below. As I said, when we send a away team down, we're gonna have to look the part.
DeGrasse is going to kind of look shocked and a bit apprehensive about saying Q, but is going to go, "Aye, Captain," and start looking for the information.
And we're going to jump to scene 3. We'll go ahead and put you guys at one moment.
It's sad our chief engineer's not here because I could totally use him right now. Ensign
Might
Knight.
need to.
Well, we have supporting character engineer, so Ensign Knight. Do you think it's possible to transport all the individuals that are currently buried in the grave sites that are members of the Achilles discreetly?
That shouldn't be a problem, Captain. They seem to be in an isolated part of the mountain. And they're
Go ahead and
underground. I doubt they would even know.
Yeah.
Good.
Go ahead and start doing that.
Yes, Captain.
You had something to say, Counselor?
I was going to say perhaps there's a diplomatic way just to handle this. She says we could set the narrative if we're dealing with the primitive locals. If we start beaming bodies off of the planet's surface, they may see it as some sort of...
Well, they are underground, as the ensign pointed out. They shouldn't notice that up until the point that they decide to dig them up. And there were 10 unaccounted for, is that correct?
We believe so.
What about the ship, sir? Are we going to start beaming portions of the ship? The debris
No.
or...
No. We'll, I have an idea on that, but I'm waiting for a planet. I'm waiting on that. I want to see how far the cultural contamination goes. Commander Dai, assemble a away team under disguise to
Yes, sir.
investigate the inhabitants.
Casey DeGrasse, she says, "You're with me," she says.
Yes, ma'am.
She looks over, wondering if she should take anybody else. And she will...
Maybe a supporting character.
I guess a pilot, I guess.
Casey has decent con, but none of us have engineering, I don't.
I don't think we can fly the ship out. So,
Yeah, that is true. But the engineering might be helpful if we end up exploring. So you might want to bring the knight supporting character.
Okay, that sounds good. And she'll ask Casey to bring along. Can we bring along another character, like another security guy? Bronze Age doesn't exactly, you know.
I wouldn't suggest probably limiting the number down because cultural contamination. The more we send down, the more obvious it might become.
With that, we'd have pretty much specialists for everything we need. 4 would probably be ideal.
She nods and then she goes to make it so.
And I post this up in the chat channel. I don't think I gave you guys that information, which is an oversight on my.
So, Dai, Casey, DeGrasse, and Ensign Knight are going to beam down to the surface under disguise, looking like them.
Okay.
Do we have to go get surgery for that or something?
I would say yes, probably.
Contacts and makeup. There you go.
No one's like a weird species, right?
No.
Knight is half
Knight-
Klingon.
No.
Yeah. Ensign Knight's half Klingon, and then DeGrasse has essentially, trail, so spots.
Okay, so yeah, we'll require some minor facial reconstruction for the Klingon. Little makeup for the Trill. So yeah, let's go ahead and make this a medical task of difficulty 2.
So yeah, I guess we'll activate Dr. Anderson.
And this will be her second time being activated, so you can do add something.
You know what? I'm gonna give her bold medicine.
Guys do like your bold.
We do like our bold, apparently.
Yeah,
Take
the
a
Monarch
threat.
is conscious.
Surgery for a focus.
Yep.
And it's control medicine, you said?
Yeah.
Rerolling the complication.
All right, you'll get 2 momentum out of it. And You look exactly like generic species number 843.
Generic species number 843.
And us by using night, that should put us at 3 crew support used.
Well, you don't need to spend nights until he's actually used. Just because he goes to the planet doesn't mean he's actively involved.
Right, yeah, I know.
But if you need him to shoot bad guys, then maybe.
Or at least he'll be there, right? Just in case we do need him.
Right.
Activate. Bad guy shooter. Number 2.
Oh, it's an engineer anyway.
Oh, wrong guy, sorry.
Cool. So yeah, if you guys are ready, I have no problem transporting you guys down.
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so you guys get to the transporter pad and give me that difficulty 3 transport. I believe it's assisted by Sensors Engineering.
And the difficulty goes down by 1 because it's.
Yep, so it'd be a difficulty 2.
And it's alright if we use Omox to do this.
Yeah, that's fine.
He does have a focus, so just because he has transporters and replicators.
Yep, cool.
Oh shit! Please help out.
F.
Oh yeah, I guess we'll just. Can we succeed at cost?
Yep. Let me think of a good cost. All right, I have one of 2 options that I just thought of, so I'll let a d6 decide. 1, 2, and 3, you are going to be put outside of the city, a good kilometer away. A 4, 5, 6, you're going to be beamed right in the middle of the busy city center.
Great.
Kilometer outside the city it is.
Woohoo!
Well,
Thank the gods.
And you guys beam into a rather hilly forested area. In the background is the big mountain you guys saw. Or not saw, but found with the remain. And in a nice little valley, you could make out the city center.
So looking at the city, I mean, do we see anything odd, and does anything catch our eye, or does it just kind of look like what we would expect it to?
Just what you expect it to look like. I mean, you are a good kilometer away, so like, it's a Bronze Age city. White buildings. Simple smokestacks for power sources, or not power, heat sources.
Okay,
That sort of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so DeGrasse is going to pull out his tricorder and start scanning for any I guess contaminants might be the right word. I mean, any environmental dangers or anything else that, he believes could present an issue for the crew.
The counselor will walk right up next to him and stand beside him, like almost over his shoulder looking.
Roll me a difficulty 1 check. Reason insight science. Let's go insight.
Okay. In 2 die or 1 die?
2 dice.
Okay. And then does sensor operations apply?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, you guys get a momentum, so you're up to 4.
Cool.
All right. So you do your tricorder scan. This part of the area is rather rocky, and it could be a little difficult getting down. There are a few wild animals here and there, but they don't pose much of a threat. Pretty docile. A few predators here and there, but
Commander, it appears to be exactly what we would expect it to be. Some rocky terrain, some predators, but they appear to be docile. Doesn't appear to be anything immediately threatening.
How long do you think it'll take us to get to the location? She says.
To get to, where was that?
Where did he say for us to go?
It's a good question.
Yeah, we beamed out
To
to check out the.
investigate the city to see what they're actually
Okay.
using, or to find the missing individuals, and to see what they're using the ship parts for.
Okay.
We could split up and have half the team go look for ship part, or look in the city, and the other half go look at the ship ruins.
She says, let's stay together. Let's not split up. She says, let's go check the city first. Follow the captain's orders, and maybe we can find out about the debris in town.
Yes, Commander.
She looks back at the at Casey and then the others, and kind of proceeds onward to go to the town. Now, when you say Bronze Era town, I'm thinking like, I don't know, like Vikings, like way back when.
Just real quick question. I might have missed this. Did we bring any weapons with us besides maybe Casey?
I would assume you'd
Would've-
probably have the hidden weapons like the Type 1.
Okay, cool.
And then you said you're making your way to the city.
Yes.
All right, so everyone that is on the planet, go ahead and roll me a fitness security difficulty 1. This is something that you probably want your better people to roll first, to give the people that have poor fitness security a chance to use momentum later.
Okay. Difficulty
call.
1, you said?
Yep. All right, got 2 momentum out of that, so you're at 6.
Uh,
Die is good.
nice. Does my survival focus
Yes.
apply to this?
Sure
Awesome.
does.
Oh, I could use my
Lovely.
focus.
Oof.
Spending the crew support, buy an extra dice for Freya.
And you get it back. All right, Lieutenant DeGrasse. The hike toward the city center is being more strenuous than usual. So for the remainder of this scene, you are going to take a +1 complication range on all subsequent rolls for being fatigued.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
And then so you guys are just having a nice brisk little walk through the hilly type forest. And do I want to spend threat for anything?
Get attacked by a wild boar.
Think I'm going to spend 3 threat here. And I am going to make you guys reach a cliff. And it is a very steep drop. It's maybe about a quarter, like a maybe a 0.25 kilometers away from the city. And it's maybe let's call it 100. Let's call it 70 meters down.
Is it manageable, or do we have to have like rope to get down it?
So here are your options. You guys can attempt to find a way around this, but obviously that would add more time and more walking. Or you can attempt, but it would be easier. Or you could attempt to scale the cliff.
Does it look like if
obviously
you fall you
be more
die kind of thing? Or does it look like you fall you eat it really bad?
You'll probably eat it pretty bad.
Okay, but it's not like fall and die, right?
Right.
Okay, just making sure, because I've been hiking and I've been in situations where like, yeah, you fall right there and you die. Okay. She looks at her crew and she looks to see if anyone's fatigued in general, to see if anybody's like lacking it, or if anybody looks like they probably couldn't make this.
Roll me insight security.
Sure.
Let's make this a difficulty 2.
Do I get a focus because of my flexibility and balance that comes from yoga?
Sure.
Working out all the time, noticing who's
Yep, that works for me.
lacking. Okay, cool. Let's see, we got any momentum? Yeah, I'll use some momentum. Why not? I'll use 1. Sweet.
So you have 8 currently. And you do notice that Lieutenant DeGrasse is a bit windy.
Suggestions before that float?
Can I use
the float?
Yeah, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say like make an advantage with the 2 floaters. Of like, I don't know. I'm always kind of not clear on advantages. I can't.
We could make it. You could say like in your where you're looking that the advantage is like you notice that there might be a section of the cliff that's not as steep. That would lower the difficulty.
Okay, I didn't know if I had the free form to make that kind of stuff up, so I wasn't sure if it like.
Well, it's up to the GM really.
I hold up my hand. I was good thing I brought this rope with us. And I don't know if the advantage is like that, if it's just like genie, or is it just?
I could use the advantage to find an easier place to climb down.
One that's more suitable for DeGrasse.
So instead of the difficulty 3, I was thinking we'll make it a difficulty 2 with security fitness.
All right, she'll look over at DeGrasse and she'll call him over.
DeGrasse will walk over, red in the face.
She looks over the side.
Commander.
Yep for this.
If we need to get down, we need to get down.
It's a long ways down. She like points to point it out to him how rough and tough the terrain is. But if we-
Casey says, "Hey Hobber, you should join me on one of my mountain climbing programs in the Hollow. It might help you for next time."
Yeah, sure, Casey. I'll be right on that.
They actually are a lot of fun. I did a hologram program for Yosemite. I think if we go down this way, she points, it might be a little bit easier. What say you, Casey? She looks over.
Pardon?
She says, this way, you think this way might be a little bit easier, less complicated? I mean, for DeGrasse, she looks over and smiles.
Whatever you say, counselor. I'm good for any path.
Well, she says, yeah, it looks easier to me. She says, let's hope that that Yosemite program paid off. She says, yeah, let's go this way. And she'll point that easier path and she'll direct him down, letting Casey go first, and then based off actually letting Casey go first, and then let DeGauss kind of watch where he goes, and she lets him know, just kind of follow the way he goes down.
Yes, Commander.
And I'm up for making those rolls.
I assume this is another roll.
Yep, fitness security. Difficulty 2.
Survival still count as a focus?
Yep. All right, you guys got a momentum out of that. So you're at 7.
So you have a floating system. I'll go ahead and spend. Well, next task
Well,
was I don't even think we could save that. So
nope. No, you'd have to use it.
It's cool. I'll use one.
All right, down to 5.
Actually, yeah, I use one. Oh God.
Wow, straight down.
before we clear the complications, let's see who else rolls real quick. Let's see how much we get back or don't. Or we can go ahead and buy that off. We'll be down to 1.
I'm still gonna fail, so.
You could use your determination to re-roll too.
Yeah, well, I got body and mind. Like must be healthy. Not on my shift. I don't know. Fast ship, strange new worlds. Hey, it's exciting climb here. Does any of those apply?
Body and mind, I think would.
So I get what do I get out of that? I've never done that before. Is it a reroll or what is it?
Yeah, it's a
You
straight
can
reroll.
re-roll.
Do I get to reroll all 3 dice or no?
Yep.
All right, we'll do that.
There you go.
Okay, so I almost lose my footing, but I'm like, keep it together.
All right, DeGrasse, you're up.
Do one of those whoa.
Don't forget your increased complication range.
Wait, can I help DeGrasse down?
Nope.
You can't assist them by calling out, like, put your foot there.
All right. Well, what's the difficulty?
2.
2. I am
Spend that momentum.
taking one of those momentums, yeah. And then I'm assuming survival still applies.
Yep.
So, all right. Here goes nothing.
You got this.
And you guys were worried.
Woo!
Alright. Time for Freya. I'm gonna spend one of the momentum. No focus.
Down to 3. And all of you successfully scaled the cliff.
Yay for Klingon genetics.
The
Yay
Klingon second heart. No, third lung. That's it. Third lung.
Yay for not having determination anymore.
And we'll go ahead and have you guys make it to. And in the meantime, we'll head back to the ship. You still haven't got this solved, Captain? Picard would have had this wrapped up hours ago.
Well, I'm not Picard. The last time I checked and he dealt with an indigenous population that was culturally contaminated, it took a lot of effort.
You have some big shoes to fill if you wish to hold the mantle of captain.
Indeed, I do. I'm surprised that you're gracing me with your presence. Usually, I thought Picard was your favorite.
Look, I grow bored of Picard. He's always lecturing me. But this looked interesting. Being called gods for your puny little race. How could I pass that?
Well, as you're aware, we are no gods, and hopefully we can undo the damage that is done. But until then, I need more answers. So, unless you want to provide me with those answers, I'm going to let my way team do their job.
I am just a spectator in this as much as you, Captain. But I am curious of what you are going to do when you find out that answer.
Well, then we shall wait and see.
I suppose. And we'll head back to the with the away team just reaching the city limit.
I'll let the captain know that we've arrived at the city limits before we actually get, within, sight of anybody seeing me. Letting him know.
Cool.
Die, proceed with caution. Just had another visit with Q.
Sure thing, Captain.
I am curious in how the primitives were able to use Federation technology when they used their communicators. I do pray that someone aboard the Achilles did not violate the Prime Directive.
It's my experience that people in extreme situations, they go back to their training, she says, but with a crew that size, if they lost their captain, she says, who knows?
As I said, tread carefully and good luck.
We will make our way to the gate. The gates of Waterdeep.
All right, and inside the city, it's a bustling, lively city. There's markets everywhere. There's housings, buildings, guards here and there. But as you walk through, you do notice some peculiar things. Some of the inhabitants seem to be making upgrades to the outsides of their houses with what looks to be like metals and alloys from a ship.
So are they like just constructing them and putting them in parts of the building? They're not like
Yep.
sitting there like a replicator, like, "Whoa, I'm replicating stuff, right?
Right. They're taking like a broken piece of like a bulkhead and they're using it to repair a wall or something like that, or replace a wall.
Okay.
That's just what you guys noticed from the
I want to.
just from walking.
I want to go walk and talk to one of them, one of the people that are doing that, and I want to kindly kind of come up and say like, hey, where did you get that from? I want to add things to my house, kind of thing.
Have you not been blessed by the god?
She shakes her head. She says, no, I have not. She says, not yet.
The gods will provide us with everything we need.
God, now I'm starting to think that there's Ferengis involved. I don't know why. She looks at the guy and she says, yes, of course. She says, where may I pray to the gods?
Well, you could pray to the gods at the temple, but if you haven't received your gift, you should speak with the magistrate.
She asks for their location.
And she'll point toward the town center.
She thanks her, says she's very helpful. And she'll move the group in that direction.
All right. So you guys make it to the middle of the town center, and it's by far the busiest place in the city. There's a lot of shops, a lot of stalls. You do see people carrying items from like starships, pieces of the hull. You do see a couple people with what looks like tricorders and a few people with phaser weapons. And then you see another person carrying like a med kit, a few tools that would be in engineering, like an engineer's tool or whatever.
She looks at DeGrasse. Why don't you start thinking about ways that we could get all of this stuff back, she says. Transporter or otherwise. I know it's going to be very complicated. Just something to think about, she says.
DeGrasse is going to look to the commander and say, well, the amount of magic that requires, that might be more of a Q type thing.
What about if we made the power sources inert? The device is useless, Lieutenant.
Well, that's potentially a solution. I'll have to look into it.
Sounds like a good temporary solution, at least for our safety. Did you notice a few phasers? She looks at Casey.
Indeed, Counselor.
Let's try to tread as softly as we can, people. She makes her way to the magistrate.
That's not at all what I want. There used to be a cityscape. I can't seem to find it anymore. Oh, there it is.
The quietest city ever.
I know. I wish there was like a busy. I don't have much in terms of ambience, so I gotta use. So you guys make it to the magistrates, and it looks like it's one of the biggest buildings in the city. You could definitely tell it's like it's for important people. It's more upscale. It probably has the biggest amount of modifications, with a lot of the metals and alloys that were recovered.
Mm-hmm.
And just outside, again, there's a big line of people waiting to get in. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody walk out with like maybe what looks like a communications device that's maybe been turned into like a necklace or something. The same thing, maybe a tricorder here or there. A lot of people going out with pieces of bulkheads and metals. All of it rather small.
Can Frey do like an insight engineering check to see if they've learned how to use the tricorders?
Yeah. Difficulty 1. And you guys will get a momentum. So you guys notice that people have been opening the tricorders, but it's more or less like showing them the lights as opposed to trying to read what's going on with. You also notice that the people that have gotten the tricorders seem to be better dressed than most other people.
See.
Commander, it appears that the indigenous life have no idea how to work the tricorders, but I would be worried if when they try to use the phaser. If they lack understanding on how to use that, them using the phaser could be devastating.
This is a nightmare. She looks around. She says, let's see if we can get some answers from the magistrate, and if we can find anybody. She says, maybe there's a local... I don't know. She says, a healer, she says, that may be taking care of some of the injured. We'll check with the magistrate, see where all this is coming from. If they've found the crash site, she says, there's a store of all these things. If they're just picking it up off the ground, she says, then we'll see if we can find our people, and once we get that information, we need to get that back to the captain.
Would it? I mean, would we might be better off to find them first before dealing with the magistrate? They could end up just taking us hostage, or worse, Commander.
She thinks for a second. It's a good idea. She says, why don't we check for a local healer? See if there's any of the crew, she says, they can be healed. We need answers on the crash site. She says, if they crash, she says, then it could be very well that the local authorities may have taken them somewhere. The magistrate would have most of the answers, she says, but we could check for a local healer first to see if it's disorganized, if they've blended in, at least somewhat. She says, let's check for our people first, which is a good idea, she says. And then she will proceed to ask where there's a healer and shelve the idea of going to the magistrate, even though they're almost there. Just
And,
temporarily.
They point to healers stand about I guess what they would call blocks over near the city center, but just down a bit.
Okay. I don't want to keep my distance from that place, but we want to see if, if we can find or locate. Maybe we can investigate. Maybe our security officer can take a look around and see if he sees any of our people anywhere around this local healer. Or
So what are you guys doing when you get?
we're gonna go question the local healer to see if there's been anybody that's been injured recently.
Okay, so you guys walk in. Go ahead and roll.
I'll look around, take a look to see if I can find who's in charge of the.
And there's a woman wearing a nice looking. Welcome. How may I treat you?
A friend of mine got hurt. I thought he was taken here, but apparently he's not. She looks around.
If he was healed today, he was probably sent home already.
She looks around for any pieces or artifacts of like the ship in the shop. You don't have any of the artifacts from the gods, she says.
We have a most wonderful gift from the gods. A a a magic healing device.
She looks intrigued, like, oh, wow, really?
And then she points to a little, kind of makes a little altar, and on the altar is a dermal regenerate.
She says, what does it do? She looks at you. Looks at her.
It heals anything. A small child came in with a cut and a broken bone, and this healed them without even touching them. We have truly been blessed by the gods on this day.
How did you learn to use it? She says. She goes to touch it, like as if she picks it up from the wrong end, to see if the lady responds to that. I want to play myself as kind of a naive young girl. If possible.
It was something we found purely by accident. We pressed the button here and it made this sound, and I thought I would try it on a cut I had, and she points to her arm, and it's not there anymore.
She says, where did you find this at? Maybe I could find something just like it.
Oh, you would have to speak to the magistrate. He hands out the gifts that the gods gave us.
She nods her head.
While this is going on, can I maybe discreetly move to a corner, maybe where they can't see me, or turn my back to them and try to scan for the missing crew? Okay. I'll make my way over to the commander and sort of lightly brush up against her and, quietly say, I just tried scanning. I can't find any signatures for any non-native life forms.
We need to pay the magistrate a visit, she says. See how all of these artifacts are flowing into the public. She looks at the lady. She says, I'll have to see the magistrate just to get my own artifact. She smiles at her, kind of walks towards the door and kind of leads her friends out, if possible.
And she politely nods at you and goes back to work in the clinic.
Counselor, might I say that if we aren't detecting any of the missing crew members, it is possible that they left the ship before it crashed. Whenever we get to the wreckage, we should see if any of these escape pods or shuttlecraft were jettisoned.
She nods her head to him. She says, yes, we'll check with the magistrate first. We'll let the captain know of all information that we found. And perhaps, she says, the Monarch has been doing research of their own. Hopefully they have. She says, if not, she says, maybe the captain will direct us to do exactly that after we brief him. Good idea, she looks at him. Well, I'll make haste over to the magistrate. It seems like that's where we're going to get the answers from.
All right, and obviously you guys have to stand in your turn in line, and this process takes about an hour because it's fairly big. But eventually, you guys are able to make it inside, and you see the magistrate sitting around a whole trove of salvaged things from the ship. You can make out some rations, pieces of the bulkhead, more tricorders, a phaser to some scanning equipment. But in the middle, You could kind of make out what looks to be a what the hell are they? Like a portable distress beacon. That's what I'm looking for. And it is powered on.
Is this portable distress beacon? Is it like a black box? Does it have like information of like how the ship went down or whatever?
No. Like it emits a distress signal.
Ah,
And it
It's
acts
turned-
as a communicator. It's not a black box.
okay. And it's centrally located where all of this stack, this horde is at, right?
Yeah. It's basically like right next to the magistrate. Like the magistrate is basically giving people their items and is standing next to this thing.
Okay. We'll make our way there to get our gift from the gods.
Right. Everyone roll me an insight command. We're gonna make this a difficulty. Let's go difficulty 2.
I'd like to go first if I can. I want to okay, insight command. What kind of focuses would apply to this? Psychology, investigation,
no.
maybe?
No, probably not.
Okay. How much momentum we have? With 3? 4? I want to use 3 of that on my roll, insight command. I want to roll my roll. Oh,
So
God,
we all need to roll it.
did I get better than that?
Yeah, but really just one person needs to pass. So the rest of you could roll to see if you learn the information, but it's not that big of it.
Observation for a focus.
You know what? I will.
Awesome.
Do I still have a complication range of 2?
Yes.
Can I? I'm gonna spend our last momentum for the extra.
Okay. You get it back, and the grass gives you guys 1.
Oh, you guys did good. Thank God
All
for
right.
you guys.
So everyone that is there, minus Freya, is noticing that the magistrate has a list and is calling names.
Great. I'm gonna push from us to withdraw from there. I don't want any of that complication. Can we do an investigation amongst the crowd, like gossip, what people are like saying and stuff? If I pull the team back.
Mostly it's just excitement about getting their gift, wondering what they'll get, what the magistrate would possibly give them. There's a lot of chatter about some of the things that people have gotten.
All right.
And you just hear references to things with lights,
Okay, then I'm gonna want to tell Casey to like make sure he marks this spot, even though the beacon's there. Make sure you like get a good GPS coordinate or whatever on this spot in particular. I want to pull the whole team out. I want to go to like an alleyway or whatever, if everybody's cool with that. And I want to report back to Captain. This needs to be like dealt with. Like he needs to know about this. Like now, this is like we're like bleeding here. I think.
All right. Yeah, and you guys are able to find a back alley. It doesn't take you too long.
Okay, I'll update the captain. Trying to be as discreet and quiet as possible of what we've found so far.
Monarch here.
Captain, she says, it is worse than we thought. She says they're handing out, the local magistrate, has a horde of items from the ship, technology items, tricorders, phasers, all sorts of technology, little things, and they're handing them out via a list to people in the city. We haven't been able to locate, she says, any of the crew members. The local healer that we went to, looking for some of perhaps our wounded, she says, had a dermal regenerator. She was given a dermal regenerator. She says, our technology is bleeding all over the town. And parts of bulkheads and pieces of the ship are being used to stylistically or improve people's homes.
This is most troubling news, Commander. And there is no word on any of the remaining crew members that could still be alive.
We haven't checked the crash site itself, since we've only been in the town. We were hoping that the ship had done some research maybe on the crash site, but we haven't found anybody. We've only been in town for roughly an hour and a half. She says.
Do your best to mark all the locations where the technology has been used. Is there any other way we can nullify from the ship without having to look like divine intervention just yet?
She looks over at DeGrasse. Ideas? She looks over at DeGrasse.
What was that last thing? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Nullifying, she says, any of the devices without having to transport them out.
Well, I guess that might be a question for the GM. Would DeGrasse have to roll for that knowledge, or could I just make something up?
Role play, whatever you guys want. Like this
Sweet.
episode from here on out is basically taking keys off of what you guys.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Everything since you guys got to the planet has been on the spot made up.
Nice.
She thinks for a moment.
Well, Captain Commander, if I could actuate the oscillating nadion frequency generator on the ship, that's might provide enough power to maybe not drain any sort of power devices, but maybe overload the devices themselves, like an old school electromagnetic pulse might for primitive electronics.
That wouldn't be harmful to the populace at all?
Well, it shouldn't be. They're a primitive culture, and it doesn't seem that there's a whole lot of metal in use here, and that would be metal would absorb most of the energy, so I don't think so.
So it's not going to be like what a phaser normally overloads.
Could we
She
rig
says,
the
No.
deflector array to emit this pulse, Lieutenant?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Could we rig the deflector array to emit this pulse?
It would be work, Captain, but I think I might be able to.
She says it could go volatile anytime down here, Captain. She says it's just going to take someone. I mean, they have items and they're pressing buttons, figuring them out. She says it's only a matter of time till someone shoots themselves or worse. She says blows themselves up.
Understood. What do you think the cultural contamination level is currently at? And then, besides the obvious.
Socially, I don't know. She says socially, I haven't had a chance to really talk with the people as far as their spiritual beliefs. She says, but I would think in this particular situation, it's best to use a little bit of magic, she says, to get these things out of their hand any way possible. She says, transporter, whatever. She says, disable them, transport them out, even the pieces of sheet metal, she says, used on their homes. She says, it may be some sort of vanishing incident, she says, in their cultural history, but that is small compared to the contamination of leaving all this stuff here.
Agreed. Commander, head towards the crash site. See what you can dig out. I'm going to I'll have Lieutenant Almox begin the rigging the deflector way to emit a pulse that hopefully will nullify all the technology on the surface. Seeing that the stuff no longer works might give some cultural impact there.
To save time, sir, should we beam back to the ship and then down to the site? It is quite a distance away. And any number of things could happen between here and there.
You'll need to find a discrete location in order for the beam out. We don't want to have anyone see you vanish.
Can I make an investigation, like security insight roll, or can I just, or is this a spot? Okay, yeah, she says this is a good spot, I think, to do this. She says, this is probably the best place, she says, Captain, to beam us out.
Understood. We'll have hold your position. We'll have the transporter beam you up right away. Or actually, we could just probably do a site to site.
Yep, it would only be a difficulty 3 because you're advanced sense.
Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and let Omox do this. He's going to spend his determination.
I let Casey know to keep a lookout before we get beamed up.
I'm trying to figure out which one was good here. Can you use it on the mission parameters?
Yes.
Alright.
I'm sure I could bullshit one that would fit, so.
So we'll just roll it straight because we only need one. And there's 3 dice going out anyway. Transport replicators for a focus.
Yep. Dear God.
Good God, Omox. Now you roll like a champ.
A champ. Like a champ.
So you guys bank 4 momentum out of that.
Nice. Captain, I believe that our priority, she says, is finding the crew, she says, and getting this equipment off. She says, as far as cultural changes to the environment, she says, we could further investigate that. Maybe even another ship could investigate that. She says, but I would think that our biggest priority would be our finding the crew of the Oberth of the Achilles and getting our space junk back, she says.
Unfortunately, the space junk is going to have to come priority first. And then she's going to look over to Saval on the bridge, who's the other science officer, and ask to do a sensor sweep for any escape pods or other transponders that might be in the area that we overlooked.
All right, and she will work on that. So where did you guys want to beam on the ship?
Oh, I wasn't necessarily on the ship. No, I mean where the wreckage would be, near the wreckage, I would think. A safe location near the wreckage, right? Not
Okay.
actually.
So not inside, you just want to beam
No. I don't want to beam inside.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and place you guys. You're within view. I would say you're probably at long range of it. So I don't know, a few hundred meters from the ship. Obviously, it looked in very bad shape. It looked like it crashed into the planet.
Is it still like on fire and stuff?
It's not on fire, but you see like the whole streak of it hitting the planet. You see the destroyed trees. You see the indentation it made into the ground. You see all the hull breaches and just debris everywhere, just littering the landscape. Parts of the hull, cargo, equipment, food stores. Just it's a mess.
She'll turn to Casey. She says, I'm going to really need your help on this one. She says, finding our people, making sure we're safe, making sure that there are no magistrate guards or people. We don't want to get caught off guard. She says, by the locals. and you're the most keen on finding people. She says, we need to find our people. Any ideas that you have, she says, please share them.
Honestly, I think we need to check the shuttle bays, check the crew log, see if we can get the computers running. That should be our number one priority, because all of our best clues are in the wreckage, I think.
Okay, she says, she waves her hand over and says, we'll head there first then. She says, you lead the way, she says, Casey.
Okay, where are we going?
I think the shuttle bays and stuff, right? That's what Casey wanted to do.
Yeah, or we could. I mean, I always suggest splitting up, but I mean, we wouldn't be that far from each other if we split up and looked at different areas of the wreckage, because we need to check the computer, see if we can get the computers online to get some of the logs or whatever.
Okay,
And
if Casey suggests that, then she's like, okay, then let's split up now then. Then we'll do a split.
All right, so I'm pretty sure an Oberth probably does not have a shuttle bay.
they have one on the front of the saucer.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably destroyed
Okay.
if it's at the front of the saucer.
Can I still just look inside and see if there's it looks like a shuttle all crushed?
Yeah, you would see destroyed shuttle.
Okay. Then she'll look to Casey and say, what do you think? She says, you look for survivors and we'll check for the computers.
Sounds good, counselor. Can I scan with my tricorder? See if there's any life signs or power signatures?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me control security difficulty
Difficulty what, sorry?
2.
She looks to DeGrasse. She says, we have to make sure that the warp core isn't in breach. Last thing we'd want is for it to explode, killing everyone.
Yes, counselor.
Commander, on that note, the warp core would have breached by now if it was. It's been 2 days, I believe.
Well, I don't know. She says, maybe if someone wandered in and pushed some buttons, she's what is this? She says, what is the state of the warp core, Captain? She says, currently. Is the Monarch able to see that?
That was actually Freya saying that. You
Oh,
probably
okay,
don't
Freya.
have open comms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She says, well, we have to confirm. She says, it could be in poor shape. It could be exposed. There could be radiation. She'll pull a tricorder. She'll check for radiation and that kind of stuff as well.
Does that roll succeed?
All right, so we'll take care of a lot here. So you're not detecting any radiation sources.
Cool.
You don't detect any life signs other than maybe 5 of the local populace in and around the area of the ship.
Okay.
They're not inside. They're basically collecting the debris off the ground.
Any fluctuations in power, that could lead us to believe the ship might explode?
Roll me a reason or insight and engineering difficulty 3.
Okay. She'll ask for the assistance of DeGrasse on this one.
And DeGrasse will gladly provide assistance.
Yep, we're good.
What is our momentum? We're at 6?
Yep.
I'm addicted. I'll spend 3 again. It said engineering. Yay!
Yeah, well, you guys get 2 of that back. And both Counselor, both you and DeGrasse noticed. Let me make sure I get this right.
He pushes the computer sound. There are 5 seconds till. ship detonation.
You notice that there are some backup systems powered on the ship with emergency power.
DeGrasse will look at Counselor and raise his eyebrows.
To figure out what those backup systems are. Do we have any questions to resolve this? Can we burn a moment for a question?
Yep.
What kind of background systems?
You would have to go inside the ship to know that. You're just reading that there is backup power.
Okay.
But you don't know what. You'd have to get inside.
She hits her communicator to the captain.
Chirp.
She says, Counselor Dai to Captain Frax.
Go ahead.
We're at the crash site. She says there's only a few locals wandering around it. She says, around the perimeter of it. We haven't been able to find any other crew members. We've done some initial scans. There are some power systems that are up within the ship, but we won't know what they are until we go into the ship. Permission to enter the ship, sir.
Continue your investigation, Commander. And be cautious. There could be locals around.
Okay. She'll like the Casey. We need to find what's on the computers.
Understood. I think Lieutenant DeGrasse has some knowledge of.
She looks at the two of them. What's the best way, she says, to get into the ship safely and to the computer systems that we need to get the information we need? She looks at them both.
So do we know? Well, I'm sure that we would know approximately where on the ship these computer systems that we need to access are.
Yeah, they'd be up in the saucer section, which is really small on an O-berth. So
Yeah.
and how close are like the locals to the ship at this point?
Like like a couple hundred meters. Like they're not close.
Okay, there was like 5 of them, you said, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I want us to keep track of them just to make sure we kind of avoid them. And we'll go where Casey suggests, which is to the try to get access to the bridge to the saucer section. Terminal's there.
Yep. Cool.
We'll make the hike. The trek
Cool.
through the dangerous falling apart ship.
So go ahead and roll me fitness and security. Difficulty 3. This will be for everyone.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the ship's in bad shape.
Survival focus.
Yeah. So you're climbing over bulkheads. You're climbing through holes in walls. I mean, you're climbing up Jeffrey tubes. I mean, it's pretty exhausting.
I'm gonna generate a threat for extra.
All right. So you generate 1. So you guys are at 6.
I'll spend 3 again. I don't want to get hurt. God, damn it.
Darn. So would survival apply to this roll?
All right. Hold on. Let me take care of Counselor Dice first.
Okay.
I guess you have momentum, so you can buy off that complication.
Yeah. It leaves us with what, 1?
Yep. Okay, so with the fail, then let's go ahead and increase your complication range to 2 for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
for fatigue.
Okay.
Fatigue 1. And then we got DeGrasse and
Night, I guess.
Yeah, it's a
that
night.
would be, yeah.
They could name some McDonald's after her. The McKnight Burger.
There's one momentum left.
Yep.
You got this, DeGrasse.
All right. Wait, so is Knight rolling or?
Well, both of you still need to roll, so.
Yeah,
You might as well just go first, then let the supporting
Yeah.
character go.
yeah, go for it.
Let the red shirt go last.
All right. Okay. Let's. So did my survival focus apply?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, I will take that momentum.
All right, DeGrasse, you are now at fatigue 2. So your complication range will be 3 for the remainder of the scene.
I messed up that last roll. I used control. I forgot to change it over to fitness, but I have 10 fitness, so I don't think it made it.
No. His
No.
highest was a 15.
Yeah, no, didn't matter.
Oh, the hell, take 3 threat.
I do like threat. On a broken ship, threat is my friend. She's good. Okay, so after a long and strenuous activity of climbing through the ship, up Jeffrey's tubes, through bulkheads, finding a way around collapsed hallways, you guys eventually make it to the bridge and pry open the... And there's nobody in it.
At least maybe we can get beamed out afterward. We're a long ways from basic training. The computers, DeGrasse, she says, assist me, she says. She comes over to go to the station to pick up the files.
We might want Knight to do this, because doesn't the grass have, like, a super high complication range?
She's ops, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she has engineering.
Alright, well, she'll look at DeGrasse and see that he's obviously huffing and puffing. She'll wave over the ops officer. She'll put in her authorization code if we can get a working terminal. Is there a working terminal there?
You'd have to reroute some power, but you think you could get one working.
Okay. Do you want us to roll for that, or do you want us to?
I sure do. It'd be control engineering difficulty 2.
I'll let McKnight do that. I'll let the goddess Freya.
So EPS power systems for a focus.
Sure, why not?
System. Okay. This is the second time she's been used, so I did give her bold engineering. So why not?
This was the second time she used. I thought this was the first.
She was
game.
used the first. No, she was used the first episode.
Oh, okay. Fair
for
enough.
A transport roll.
Fair enough.
So
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a long time. It was on
the.
I marked it. It was on the 27th. So
Cool.
Of April.
Cool.
So yeah, take a threat. Re-rolling one of the zeros.
Cool. You get the panel working.
Great. I put in my authorization code.
I forgot to mark the focus use. So that re-roll I think should have been yeah, it was a 4.
Yep. So you guys will get 1 momentum.
Okay. Computers. This is Authorization code Alpha Papa Papa 1 Echo Papa India Echo. She says, access captain's files. And I want to access the files that, if he has any logs and stuff like that he would have left for us. Or is that like an insight roll? Okay.
So just imagine this being in like a type of personal log almost. I just bullet point.
Can I like, hook up the tricorder to it to gather this information like a thumb drive kind of thing?
Yep.
I'll do that.
Let's make that a difficulty 2 engineering roll though.
Okay, cool.
With control.
Control engineering. I got this.
Because then I'll give it to everybody.
Investigation or no?
No.
Okay, cool. Still got complication range 2 because I'm tired as hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting the red zeros tonight, guys. Sorry.
You could have let Freya access those logs. So.
Yeah, but
Okay, so we're gonna have some fun now.
no guts, no glory.
Let me grab a random sheet here. So, Dai, as you're getting the logs, one of the beams that are over the console falls to the ground and kind of hits you on the shoulder, and you'll take 2 stress damage.
Okay. She grabs the shoulder and falls to the ground, trying to pick herself up as quick as possible. Is she bleeding?
Then in the mess, it does break your tricorder.
She looks over towards Freya. I need you to. Commander? Yeah, I think I'm all right. She puts her hand on her shoulder, and we need the information off of this terminal. She says, your tricorder. She says, can you pull the information off of this?
I will attempt to do so, Commander. And take a threat. You say it's control engineering?
Yep. Cool, you guys get a momentum.
She says, I need you to transmit that back up to the ship.
Understood. And she'll do that.
All right. All right, so this is going to be so just imagine this as being like almost like a ship's log, maybe in voice, maybe in text, whatever. I just bullet pointed it out because it's easy. However, how many people are here?
4 of us?
4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, 4. I got enough threat for 3 out of 4 of you. So I'm going to roll a 4-sided dice to see who the odd person out. So, how do I want to divvy this? Names as they appear on me. So 1 will be Prax, 2 will be Dai, 3 will be Casey, 4 will be DeGrasse. Whoever I roll will not have to do what I'm about. All right, so everybody. So as you guys get this information, the top of the bridge starts to collapse in on itself, and a lot of debris starts falling from the ceiling. So I need everybody to roll me fitness security difficulty 3 to avoid the falling debris.
Except for the guy with the super high fitness security.
Except for Casey, you're standing in a doorway.
Oh, great.
Well,
This
doesn't
mission
do
is
that,
going
but-
really well for Casey, not for anyone else. Can I try to? Can I like try to help them, like grab them and
Nope.
try and
As it
like pull
breaks
them
apart,
away?
I shout out to everybody, grab onto something. Can I?
So just so you guys know, I spent 9 threat to do this. So
No.
since you guys were giving me so much, it is time.
Okay, so difficulty 3.
Yep.
We got 2. Okay, so anybody fearing this roll? I haven't been rolling good, so I'm probably due to roll good, I would think. DeGrasse has what, 3 complication range right now?
Yeah.
So, take the momentum if you got to.
Wait, you want me to take?
You got
Like,
2, right?
yeah.
Take at least 1.
Oh, I'm either gonna take as much as I can get or give quite a bit of threat. So, but yeah, I should probably roll last, I guess.
Wait, you can
do
give
have
threat
a
without being bold?
determination. Yeah,
Like
you
that,
can give
or
threat
no?
without being bold.
Oh, okay.
So how many threat am I getting?
Just gonna make it worse.
I know.
Well, I'm
Oh,
saying
so the
like
comp-
DeGrasse, you still have your or determination, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of how to apply it.
I'll give him
Um,
I'll give him 3 threat. I'll give him 3 threat.
He's just gonna pull Casey into it now.
It's okay.
Don't give him any ideas.
Casey, you can handle this. Come on, you got this, buddy.
All right, so I'm getting 3 threat from somebody, right?
Oh yeah, you get 3 threat from me. I'm gonna use my yoga balance and flexibility to keep myself from falling. All that yoga paid off, and I'm gonna roll my roll. Come on, no zeros, no zeros. You gotta spend. You gotta spend to make some. So there we go.
All right, Counselor Dye, you are able to actually dive under the console that you were trying to pull information from, and it protects you from the falling debris.
Thank God.
Who is Nick?
Go ahead and go, DeGrasse.
All right. So if I take the 2 momentum, do I get 4 dice?
So if you spend 1 momentum, you'll get 1, and then you would need to spend 2 more. But it can be a combination of threat and momentum.
Gotcha. And then if I use a determination, yeah, actually, let me see if I can try to do that. So the best one I got is discipline is a chief virtue. So being very disciplined, very clear-headed, I'm going to say DeGrasse might have a little bit of a jump on seeing this happen, and be able to react just a little bit more quickly than maybe the rest of the crew members would.
I don't know if I'm sold on that.
Okay. Well, it's the best thing I got. So, all right. Well, take 2 momentum and threat, and then survival. Does survival apply in this situation?
Yes, this is
Awesome.
very much a survival situation.
Awesome. All right. Here goes. Can the ship assist on this, or
No.
is that just
Can,
too?
can
Okay.
Casey jump in and shield him from the debris in an act of true heroism?
He did make it, but it's 2 complications.
Right. So complication is so first complication is the damage is happening anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and let that stand, and then I'll bank the other two.
So that's
That would be an
5.
injury. Yep, that would
Yeah.
be an injury.
So give him 2 threat to avoid the injury.
You're getting 2 threat to avoid the injury.
So much threat. All right, we got one
Yeah.
more.
Okay. So her fitness, that's it's about 50% chance. You know, um, take a threat because there's no focus on this. But we'll chance it.
F.
And then I'm going to spend a point of threat to increase the damage to 5.
Mm.
Trying to remember if sporting characters can spend this. I think they can. It's only for minor NPCs. Yeah. Take 2 more threat.
God, so much momentum, or so much threat.
Well, I mean the difficulties have been kind of insane. So
Turns out the Borg, like down the ship.
I think I have enough to bring in a Borg cube at this point.
I think
well,
do
you
it.
know what? That's not really that bad as what you think about it, because they only get 4. They can only go 4 times because there are only 4 players. So Borg stats are a little bit weird. So we might actually have a chance with the Borg with fewer players than you would with a lot of players.
All right.
Well,
so
regardless.
we had 2 people avoid injuries. But now we're going to have some more fun.
Is that before or after I communicate to the captain, emergency beam us out of this broken ship canoe?
So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'll let you emergency beam out, but I'm going to spend 6 threat. And I am going to cause the floor of the bridge to start collapsing now under the weight of the... basically, because of all the damage, the floor is compromised, and it's about to fall through the floor. So definitely emergency beam out time.
Prax, I think he's trying to kill us.
I'm going to tell Omox to beam them out, and as sort of a direct, I'm giving him my point of determination, so that he
Okay.
can use being loyal to my friends and expecting the same from them. Or no, waits till the last second. That's a good one. Waits till the last second to use the value on that.
Okay, so we're gonna have a lot more fun with this then. I'm gonna spend 4 threat, increase complication range to 3, and I'm gonna use the last 2 that I have to go ahead and increase the difficulty 1 more. So it would be, so when it's all said and done, it's still difficulty 3, complication 3.
Okay. Shit. Okay, take 2 threat.
Casey's fine. He can stay on the ship.
No, you're all coming up. Transport and replicators for focus.
Yep.
So that's 4. Hold on, ship's gotta go.
Generate more threat.
Oh my
Ouch.
god.
I'm all for the
Really?
Borg showing up.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have more fun.
Oh.
So we got a momentum out of that. So I want to kill that, give you a threat, and spend that momentum gain to kill one of the complications.
I don't see how this is fun.
So you're doing what?
Yeah, we gained 1 momentum, I think, because that was 4 successes. It was difficulty 3.
Yep, but you were out, so you're at 1 moment.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We spend 1 momentum and give you a threat to kill one of the complications at least.
Okay,
Is that okay?
cool.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna have some fun because I had this idea for a complication, and I am using it. It won't be too bad.
Counselor would say
Transported
robotic.
with you is a falling bulkhead piece. Everyone on the transporter pad, please roll me fitness security difficulty 2.
We still get our fatigue stuff.
Sure do.
Aye.
Still survival focus.
Yes.
Thank God. Okay.
Security. We have no momentum, right?
Nope.
All right, cool. It lands on us all.
Take a threat. Oh God.
Half.
But it kills the grass.
It's been lovely playing with you all. I really enjoyed these past 5 weeks.
Okay, so for Casey, Knight, and Dye, this is you'll take 3. For
Okay.
DeGrasse, you're going to take the brunt. That's your damage.
Okay.
Which that is an injury. You already avoided one.
No, the void doesn't if you do the momentum spend or threat spend, it doesn't count. It's only on the determination spend that it counts when you avoid the injury.
You could only do it once per scene, though. You have to recover
No,
to get
he
it back.
can spend. No, actually, I think you can actually spend the determination. I'm gonna double check with that, but you can't use the avoid spend anymore because the determination spend is slightly different.
Yeah, so the determination, he still gets the injury. The avoid, you completely avoid it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can only do the avoid once per scene, which I believe you already did.
Correct.
At least it's on a ship, right?
Yeah, that's true. If I'm
We don't
gonna
have to
break
fish
my
it.
neck, it should be on an operating ship, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in danger of dying.
Yeah.
Because you are indeed on the ship, and it's just a case of moving the beam off and get him to sick bay.
Okay, that's what I'll tell Casey to. The beam, she says, help us. She'll take her
Yeah.
crappy strength and try to help him out.
I will pull the beam off and carry DeGrasse, I guess.
Yep, and you guys get him the sick bay, and the doctor gives him a good pat on the shoulder, some drugs, a little pass with a dermal regenerator to fix some internal bleeding, and he's as good as.
Okay, I'll go directly to the captain to the bridge, even though I think I got 5 stress total. I think it was 2 and then 3 later on.
But we are going to go ahead and go to a new scene, so all injuries and stress are healed, and then you guys can move into the next scene and whatever plans you guys have.
I see the captain. As soon as people are good to go, we want to get the captain, talk to the captain, give the captain options, what we've seen, what we haven't seen. So I'll go to the bridge and I'll recommend, as long as they're not like dying or anything, then yeah, bring them, tell them come to the bridge.
Suppose I should switch the thing to where we're at.
And she'll be fixing her hair when she comes on the bridge. Probably a little scraped up. They're probably all a little scraped up. There's no injury though.
Counselor?
She walks on the bridge. She looks at the captain. She says, "Captain, it is bad down there. The bridge is
Casey-
literally falling apart on us. If you hadn't beamed us out," she says, "I think you'd be short 4 officers."
Casey is visibly happy from getting to be in danger.
The counselor will double take on that and then look back at the captain.
Lieutenant
We're unable to
DeGrasse,
locate the crew.
I had a look at the logs that you sent up that you were able to retrieve. Appears that some of them were lost in space. That could account for the 10.
The logs do suggest, Captain, however, that the crews that were on the ship did survive the initial crash.
Which means they're somewhere on the planet's surface. Lieutenant DeGrasse, I want you to double your efforts to try and locate them using the ship sensors to find them.
Reread that log carefully, because I don't think that says that any survived.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of like, got emergency power back on. We'll try to send a signal to Starfleet. We'll try to set the ship down away from populated centers to stay hidden. Which means that they could potentially all die in the crash.
The buried bodies, we could probably try to identify them if we beam them up already. Are we sure that like medical had been working on something like that?
Yeah, they were. I was messaging Prax about that.
Cool.
But we are certain with the logs, or the sensor readings that we got, that we didn't find anyone else besides the remains.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess I just misread it.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to make it as if this was happening while they're still in space. You know, they got emergency power back to get maneuvering thrusters. Then it's like, we will do this when we set down. We will do this. We will do.
Yeah, I just guess I didn't look closely enough.
But it's bullet pointed, and my brain is fried. So who the hell knows what my thought pattern is at?
So options on how to get this technology back.
She looks at DeGrasse.
Well, Captain, we could try my earlier idea, which is to essentially overload any functioning technology. As mentioned, it wouldn't take care of any alloys or, any other advanced materials on the planet, but at least the technology wouldn't be functioning anymore. Alternatively, if they believe us to be gods, we could potentially exploit that and somehow try to convince them to hand over the technology willingly.
She looks at the captain.
Perhaps a play.
If
You
we
did say
can
in your
beam,
report that they were just, well, you did say, Counselor, in your report that their magistrate was just handing them out.
yes, per a list. Seems they had a list of people. Maybe they are giving them out to the community, one apiece.
Well, did you notice anything were they giving it out equally or to a select group of individuals?
It seemed like a great number of people amassing. She says,
As in, their clothes, the way they were dressed, were they certain individuals were more upscale in terms that they were more higher status in their society, getting the materials versus someone who was more poor?
the wealthy seem to be getting the better materials, functioning tricorders, things that nature. She says, if we could get some sort of, don't know, connection, she says, with the alloys. Maybe we can beam up all the metal. She says, it is the Bronze Era down there. They wouldn't have anything of great use metalworking except for things during the Bronze Era. So anything that was an alloy, she says, we could probably get the signature and beam it up. You would think, right, DeGrasse? She says. I would recommend that. She says, reasoning with them. They're a primitive culture, Captain.
The thing is, though, if we were deciding to take it, we also have to look at cultural compromise here. Since damage is already done, we do have to course correct a little bit for them. If we were to just suddenly take their technology away from them without giving them some sort of explanation, it could throw their whole chaos, or their whole religion upside down.
As could an explanation. She says, do you have an explanation in mind, Captain?
They were giving it out to the rich and powerful, is that correct?
She nods her head. Among others,
Well,
she says. But we're going to have to do something about the crash. She says we're going to have to... Starfleet's going to have to get someone to recover the pieces of the ship. She says there's going to have to be someone here long term, probably with this civilization.
I don't think we'll be able to accomplish that. Lieutenant Casey, is it possible using full spread of our quantum torpedoes that we can completely destroy the remains of the Achilles?
That was exactly my thoughts, Captain. I believe that would be possible, and we could make it look like a natural crater. It'll seem really weird for the current generation of people, but in 100 years, everyone will just think it was a comet.
Captain, she says, might I recommend? She says there are specialists, first contact specialists, that could handle this sort of thing. They can come down, excavate the site.
But, Commander, you're missing the point. If we come down here and try to then intertwine with them, we're only polluting their culture even more.
No, I'm not suggesting intertwining with them. I'm suggesting surgically removing, she says, what damage we've done. Like the ship.
Captain,
DeGrasse is going to speak up. Oh, sorry. DeGrasse is going to speak up and say, I think it's safe to say that their culture is already contaminated, potentially beyond repair. They consider us gods from the sky. They have our technology. Even if we completely remove everything, every piece of contamination from the surface, they will still have memories of this. This will influence their culture.
This is true. She says there are two aspects to this, Captain. There's a social aspect of it, and there's a technological aspect of it. The social aspect may take years for that to change, and there are many delicacies in that. She says, but we can do something about the physical aspect of it, the technology aspect of it now, she says. We would need better information, she says, to determine the effects on this culture. She says, they are Bronze Era, and he is right. They could, she says, forget this part of their history. She says, but catastrophic events, big things, the mass disappearing of objects, an explosion, these things can be huge to a culture over time.
The ship has only been there for like a week, though, Counselor. It didn't seem that they, had it. Writing literacy is not widespread. This event could easily be forgotten in their history if we act quickly.
She looks over.
I think the time for debate is over with this.
She nods her head.
Lieutenant Casey, load quantum torpedoes. Let's not try and harm the indigenous population that are nearby. If need be, we'll site-to-site transport them away while we destroy what remains of the Achilles. Lieutenant DeGrasse
I have a question.
and Omux.
Before we do that, I have a question. And this might just be a Star Trek lore question. I don't know. But, if a ship has, a warp core on it, what happens if we blow up that ship? I mean, isn't that a big explosion?
I mean, no matter what, like, I mean, this is a warp-capable ship, and we're blowing it up on a planet. It's one thing to blow it up in space, but I mean, like, on a planet? I mean, I may be stupid about this. I don't know. I'm just saying.
They probably jettisoned it if they were like losing all power. I don't know. They
It
That's
might be
what-
good to scan for it. Yeah, if we
Yeah,
breach
we
the
would-
warp core, that could be
so
a...
so to answer this question, it wouldn't be as big as if it were to have a antimatter explosion. So it would still be relatively confined. I mean, you just got to look at the starships and the bang they make.
Right, like, I just can't conceive, like, I mean, maybe I'm just wrong. I just can't conceive logically, like, how you could blow up a ship without it having at least, like, I don't know, like a nuclear bomb style explosion. Unless you separated the warp core from the ship, like,
Yeah,
it's gonna.
it wouldn't make the big nuclear explosion you're thinking of.
Would it be possible
they-
to send? Go ahead.
The thing is, though, like, when they lost all power, they would have lost all containment on the antimatter, and that all would have been jettisoned immediately.
Well, at least it's not like a big vessel with a bunch of photon torpedoes and stuff, so that's cool. It's just a smaller vessel, a scientific vessel.
Yeah,
I mean, the photon
you do have to
torpedoes
think
are-
that you do have to think that if they are crashing on a planet, they're going to take steps to minimize any potential destruction that the ship would do. So venting the plasma, venting the probably the matter, antimatter, whatever, like they would do that.
Okay, I just want to make sure we did our due diligence before we blow up the planet. Just making sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a
we're
scientist.
just splitting hairs, I think, with that.
Torpedoes are also inert until armed. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, she would advise the captain that if you're gonna do this, make sure you get it all, because any little piece of that ship technology,
Instead,
future.
What?
what if instead
The
of the
remaining-
site?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what if instead of the site-to-site transport, we could send like a high pitch frequency directly to that area to drive any remaining locals away. It might seem like a natural occurrence.
Could you tractor beam part of the ship off the planet? No, we drop it. It blows up.
Well,
the
you would
planet.
have. Well, you would have to enter the atmosphere for that.
Yeah.
And since we've seen Change Dead, by the way, does our power get restored, correct?
Yes.
This will be their Atlantis. It says years in the future, if this civilization survives, they will probably develop archaeology. They'll probably end up digging up this site. She says, and they'll find things unless you completely obliterate it.
Well, by the time they're capable of getting anything of value out of something that got quantum torpedoed, they'd probably already be warp capable.
You remember, though, I believe the stories on Earth, the Tales of Atlantis, were just that, tales. And in the future generations for this planet, that's all they'll ever be, is tales.
Imagine, if you will, she says. This is my last comment on this. She says, Captain, I know you have a job to do. She says, imagine, if you will, it's the 21st century in this culture's future, where they're touching their first moonwalk or barely touching space. And an archaeologist finds this site and finds any piece of technology related to our civilization. And then they dig more and they dig more and they find some things there. This could propel their society forward in ways that we can't fathom.
That's why we're going to completely destroy this ship the best we can, and then beam up the remaining parts of the technology. If you would let me finish my orders, Counselor, instead of interrupting me, you would understand instead of trying to argue with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to argue. I just thought that surgical removing of. I apologize, Captain.
I cannot surgically remove the Achilles without showing our presence even further.
So is that a shoot the torpedoes?
Yes, I want you to arm the quantum torpedoes. Lieutenant Casey,
Torpedoes armed.
DeGrasse, make sure that there are no indigenous population nearby the blast radius of the Achilles currently.
There was
Captain.
there was at least 5 just when we were there, so maybe we could beam them to another location, or checks the captain.
They might have left when the ship started imploding.
They might have left.
Lieutenant DeGrasse, please go ahead and scan the area of the crash site. Make sure there is no indigenous population left, or any life forms for that matter.
Go ahead and give
Aye,
me a
Captain.
difficulty. Go ahead and give me a difficulty 2 control science assisted by sense. So diff 1.
Okay.
Oh my god. What is wrong with the ship?
The sensors
What?
blow up.
What is
Seriously.
Well, at least it wasn't the photon firing. You know, you fire it hits the city on accident, sir.
Yeah. Well, it would take care of the problem, I guess. If, that happens.
In a captaincy, probably.
Complications, huh? So many complications.
Oh gosh.
I don't even know what I want to do with it. Okay. I guess I am going to increase the number of people there. There are 20 there now.
The ship is cursed, Prax.
Captain, it appears that the number of individuals has increased since we were there. There now appear to be approximately 20 life forms.
Lieutenant Casey, charge phaser weapons. Start random strike patterns, not near the indigenous population, but enough that to ward them away from the crash site.
Perhaps we could beam them. She's awake.
I was trying to make this look like more of a divine intervention.
I could maybe he could just like shoot them into the sky like they don't hit any. I don't know if that's possible.
Certainly looks like that, sir.
Could we not, Lieutenant DeGrasse, could we not induce a potential rainstorm? Cause some
A rainstorm
good
on the surface?
old-fashioned, within the clouds. Good old-fashioned divine providence.
We could certainly attempt to, sir. So is that something that I might know how to do, GM?
So I'm thinking it sounds like Prax is wanting to create lightning.
Yes.
And so I think you could probably send out a few beams to bounce off the atmosphere to produce an effect like that. Let's go ahead and make this a control science. We'll make this difficulty 3 because it's very particular.
Sure.
This is probably going to be a deflector thing. So I'm thinking structure science.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you a threat for a third die. And we'll see how this goes.
There you
Boom.
go, ship. And yes, so on the screen, you create the desired effect around the ship, causing various lightning strikes that are rather harmless. But put on a good show, and most of the people are fleeing back toward the town in a sprint.
Captain, it appears our ruse has worked.
Lieutenant Casey, when they have cleared the blast radius, you're clear to open fire with quantum torpedoes. I want maximum destruction.
Understood, Captain. Full spread at maximum yield.
Okay, difficulty 3, control security, assisted by weapons.
Perfect. I'll generate
You know what? I got some threat. Let's make this a complication 2.
Okay. So focus shipboard weapon systems.
Yep.
I'm gonna generate a threat for a third dice. Do we have any momentum?
1.
Should I use it? I feel we should save it.
If you're looking to get a 4th dice, you can give them one more threat and spend that momentum. At this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
We're in the hole as it is, so.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Control security, right?
Yep. Good thing you had that bold,
Yeah.
because then you do hit the city.
You also rolled fitness security too, but I don't think it matters.
Wait, god damn it.
No, it didn't.
I thought I did click it, but
Must have been above.
I always get the discipline right, but I click on the wrong attribute. So
Oh, the weapon stuff are gone. Oh. That is the sound of the ship blowing to smithereens.
Lieutenant DeGrasse, make sure there's no remnants of the ship.
Of course, Captain. The ship is gone, completely destroyed.
Very good.
We could socially try to say that the gods are angered and that the items need to be returned to the gods or they'll destroy the city.
Well, they did communicate with me that you said was there a beacon activated on the planet's surface?
yes, Captain.
Yeah. Yes.
Lieutenant Omox, prepare to beam all the remaining technology, or begin a sequence beaming of all of the remaining technology on the surface, and open a channel to that beacon.
She looks over at Prax. She looks over it with a straight face. Can't tell you what she's thinking though right now.
Is the channel open?
If he opened it, it is.
I'll make this short and sweet. You have squandered my gifts that I have given you. Thou that I have given you, I shall take away. And she motions to cut the channel and nods to Omox to begin transport.
Right. For Omox, oh, he already uses determination, right? It doesn't matter. Non-player. We'll just go ahead and make it. And he will report that the transport is complete.
Lieutenant DeGrasse,
All
make
the
sure
items-
that there's no remnants. Okay.
All items on a planet's surface are transported, Captain.
Very good. And there is no remaining technology left behind? Or debris for that matter?
No, Captain.
Counselor?
Permission, Captain, to work with medical to catalog the dead.
Go ahead.
She gets up from her chair. She walks out, visibly shaken by the whole thing.
Torpedoes, Captain. Communicating with the inhabitants. Beaming them up. You might have more in common with us than you realize.
I did not beam a single one of them up. I beamed the devices up. Our technology back.
Oh yes,
Frozen,
such a lovely show of magic, Captain.
in the end, it'll just be tales and whispers. No different than what happens on other cultures. There's countless records throughout Earth's history and other worlds that indicate that could be perceived as extraterrestrial life interfering with primitive cultures.
But those stories and tales have the potential, Captain. The potential to breed death and destruction wherever they go. I hope you made the right. But either way, I think this is going to be interesting. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of Graven Image.